it's Alli Jordan. Welcome to Secrets to Scale, our look at strategies that can help independent RIAs drive growth. My guest today is Trey Ruch, co-founder and CEO of LibertyFi. Trey is my partner, mentor, and most importantly, friend. Welcome, Trey. It's very fitting to have you on our first Secrets to Scale.
Well, when you're talking about our relationship and introduction, I can tell you I have a great job working with you, and I'm delighted to talk with you about our business today.
Well, so as we enter into our fourth year, we've talked a lot about how can we continue to provide value to the firms that we work with, and the focus on driving growth, creating operational efficiencies in their practice. And this was kind of one of the main reasons why we came up with Secrets to Scale, so we can give access to our partner firms and also other RIAs that are out there. So as we look back over the past 4 years, what are a few things that you have learned about the firms that we work with on a day-to-day basis?
Well, we work with 23 firms, I think now, and then before that, we worked with almost 40. And one of the things I think we've all found is that each firm is somewhat unique and is at a different starting place. And so our job is to run a great discovery process, to draw careful assessments at the beginning, to figure out what exactly it is the client knows about the technology, because most people are users of someone else's technology that's built into their program. And as you know, and I know, having run these programs, the programs basically are set to the lowest common denominator of user. So the possibilities are not always clear to the client, and we need to find out exactly where they stand on that understanding spectrum. Second, the other thing that's really important to know or to learn through the discovery process is exactly where the firm stands in terms of its own internal capabilities, the ability to do things now, to learn, and to do more difficult things later. So those are the two things that we always start with, I think. And you know what we've learned is to basically change the mistakes we make and repeat our successes. And that has been kind of the hallmark, I think, of our success in leading people to understand what it is they want to do, on what timeline they want to do it, and how we can help them pull it off. So planning is important, and paying attention to the differences, respecting the differences to what firms know, what they're trying to accomplish, and their level of ability at the time we begin the process is very important.
Yeah, and I think an aspect of that is our team. The fact that most of us, we've sat in their shoes, right? We ran an RIA on the technology. We were able to really be in the weeds and learned how to use it in order to really benefit their practices, which really kind of sets us apart and to be a really good resource to the firms that we work with.
You're absolutely right.
In theme with the Secrets to Scale, you know, one of the things that you and I talk about a lot is how can we make sure that our firms are utilizing the technology in the right way? They have access to the resources they need in order to provide a good experience for their clients. So what are some of the ways that you think that we can help advisors continue to grow their practice?
Well, you know, I talked about the discovery process and figuring out, you know, where we're starting the exercise and with whom, and their level of ability to adapt through the conversion. In the first 100 days, a learning experience. And then, you know, after that, you know, we're kind of drawing a secondary assessment of where they are. And as they begin to understand how they can apply the technology to grow and scale their business, to replace maybe the functions they were performing previously in a different way, where they want to go, what they want to learn how to do next, and what is their level of ability to do those things. You know, learning is a consecutive and iterative process. So, you know, 100 days isn't a very long time, but usually we're drawing that assessment about that far out, and we're talking to the firm about things they've told us and how we can translate that into action plans. And then we ask them to rank their priorities. And I think that's really distinguishing when you talk about the contrast that exists between our approach and the approach of many software companies that are in the business of selling software. You made a very important point a moment ago. We actually use the software to make a living. So we're not the guy selling the tennis racket. That's not the guy you want to take the lesson from. You want to take the lesson from somebody who's played tennis for years successfully. And you know, we've lived and died 1,000 lives and deaths on the system. So we know what it can do, and we know how to do the things that make it work well to accomplish the fundamentals as well as the more advanced things that you want to do in terms of generating a great digital back office environment and a great digital experience for how you interface with, you know, your advisors as well as your clients.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what's so unique about the RIA space and so special about it is each advisor has a different approach of what they see best for their clients. So the 23 firms we work with today all operate differently, and the technology really gives them the ability to run their business in the way that they want to. So if they're very planning focused, it has planning tools. They want to bring in credit, there's credit integration. With the custodians, you know, we can help streamline asset movement or account opening. So I think that is another thing that sets what we're doing apart in the RIA space is each advisor has a different mindset of the way that they want to build their brand, how they want to be successful with their clients. And so being able for us to really listen to them and help them integrate those different parts of their business into their main system is extremely powerful to help them with that growth trajectory that we keep talking about.
Right.
So, you know, we've talked a lot about our current firms and how can we keep helping them, right? That's one of our main objectives is to keep adding value to them, to keep allowing them to grow. But there's a lot of advisors and independent RAs out there that are thinking about the space or thinking about making a change. And so obviously with your 35 years of experience, you've done a lot of system evaluation and change and making big business decisions. What are some of the first things that you would recommend an advisor or an RIA today to evaluate if they're really thinking about making that investment in technology to allow them to get to that next level?
Well, I think our clients' experience with us and with the InvestNet suite of wealth tech tools has proven that any firm that wants to improve on their abilities in the back and the middle office and improve the client experience can address the fundamentals using the platform without having to reach too far, without having to stretch too much. That's a given. It's what you want to do next. And where I think most FAs we work with seem to want to go is in the area of trying to collaborate more with their clients digitally. I think advisors do a terrific job on the face-to-face front, always have, probably always will. But now there's a way you can strengthen relationships and bonds with clients and get them to actually work with you rather than waiting for you to produce a work product for them for their review. And that is to begin working with them in the client portal space with all the tools and features and advancements that have been built in to the InvestNet client portal. And so I think that is really the next frontier, and it's a greatly underutilized resource by all firms. I mean, InvestNet tracks utilization. Certainly the pattern is improving, the pattern of use is improving. The movement's growing, probably because of COVID, the fact that we don't have any other way to really deal with communications. So it's forced people into the digital space with their client servicing effort. It needs to stay there to a certain extent or degree, not exclusively, but it's a tremendously powerful complement. It creates enormous leverage in terms of what you do with your client and how they feel about it, and their access to the information that we traditionally provided within the industry. don't have to wait on anything anymore. It's great.
Yeah, I think, firms out there that aren't having that digital client experience, that's something for them to definitely think about, especially, in the world that we're living in. I'd say it's a silver lining of COVID. I would say that trend was probably going to take, the next 5 years. We were heading in that direction. But when the entire world shut down in March, advisors were so used to meeting with clients one-on-one, they really had to make a change in their business model. And I would say the firms that we work with did a tremendous job of moving to that online experience, digital experience with their clients, to make sure their clients still felt in control. They knew what was going on with their finances, even with the markets, swinging. So our firms did a really good job with that, and we saw a huge uptick in client logins during that time and over the past year in 2020. So a trend that I hope continues for all advisors and clients out there.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
A question we were going to ask all of our guests this year is, what is the number one tip for advisors to achieve scale?
There's one thing I think that's the most important thing that we've learned in working with all the firms we've helped. And that is that there has to be a change in mindset. Traditionally, I've been in this business 35 years. All the tools were built so that somebody else could help you with a physical deliverable that would come out of the back office. That's not the reason why we're in the business with InvestNet. That's not the way their Wealth Suite works. Their Wealth Suite is built so you can deliver service at the point of service, so you can collaborate with your client live. And it takes a change in mindset. It takes adaptation to understand that difference and to begin to take advantage of it. It's an extraordinary leverage. But there's one thing that you have to be willing to do, and that is learn how to do some basic things yourself. And I'm gonna stay with the word basic, because so many of the things that are important that you be able to do as an advisor, particularly with your clients, but also in the way you work with your middle office at your firm, are not difficult things to learn how to do at all. And in terms of expediting, scaling, growing, creating a better digital experience for your client, all those things require that you learn how to use those tools at a competent level. And I guarantee you, we can teach you how to become competent, and you'll be delighted with where you start and where you wind up on that learning curve.
Yeah, I think that's a great point and a great way to wrap this up, and something that we preach to the teams that we bring over. In the first 90 days, we're focused on them getting their clients over, right? That's the number one thing for them to focus on. And then the next 90 days to really get into the system, to understand how it works, to use it, because that's what's going to be most beneficial. So I think to all advisors out there, you all have tools available to you. Make sure you're using them in the way that you want them to help with your business. So Trey, I think that's a great way to wrap up our advice for advisors really looking to scale, even those out there that we don't work with.
Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on today for our first Secrets to Scale. What we have built over the past 3.5 years with our team, our partner firms, our network has really been something special to be a part of. And I'm really looking forward to what we do for the rest of 2021.
It has been a good ride.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we look forward to having you on the next Secrets to Scale.